I'm sure you've all seen the headline saying, Judge orders Trump administration to fully fund SNAP benefits for November by Friday. Friday being Friday the 7th of November 2025. And the subsequent block by the Supreme Court saying, nope, they don't have to actually do that and not pay the SNAP benefits. So you may be wondering, just what the why would the president do that? Why would the Supreme Court allow it? Trust me, there is a good reason for it, and me not being the biggest fan of Trump, I still understand why this is happening and why SNAP benefits, as terrible as it is, should not be paid in the manner that was dictated by that judge. If you already know what SNAP benefits are and all the background story to this, feel free to skip over here. Otherwise, SNAP is essentially a food assistance program. It's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's meant to be a way for lower income people to be able to afford groceries, basic necessities in order to feed themselves and their families. Okay. The thing is, this program costs about $8,000 million or $8 billion if you're American dollars every month. Because of the government shutdown, that money cannot be given out, and so the program has been halted. The thing is, Congress did approve a contingency fund for these types of situations, but that was only $4.8 million. Okay, it doesn't cover the entirety of even 1 month. Therefore, in order to fully fund it for a month, 2 months, etc., the money has to be pulled from somewhere else. And that's where the problem with this whole thing arises. Okay, so now that we're on the same page, I'm going to dive into this article by CBS News. I'm going to leave it in the description so you can take a look at it yourself. It explains the whole situation quite well. Essentially, what happened is that the U.S. District Judge John McConnell told Justice Department lawyers that this is simply unacceptable to wait any longer. He was very upset about the whole benefits not being paid out, and he essentially ordered that the Trump administration has to pay 100% of the benefits. Nothing wrong thus far, right? Everyone can agree that this is a good decision. Well, yes and no. Unfortunately, the contingency fund is just not enough to cover the costs. And so what he ordered is that money has to come from somewhere else. In fact, that somewhere else being specifically, let me find it here, the Section 32, the contingency fund set up by the Section 32 of the Agricultural Adjustment Act of 1935. To which, essentially, the Trump administration answered, there is no lawful basis for an order that directs USDA to somehow find $4 billion in the metaphorical couch cushions. And honestly, I think they're right. In this case, and let's take a look at the Congress's website, they specifically tell here what the Section 32 funds are meant to be used for. And that is, Clause 1, to encourage the export of agriculture products. Not the case, they're not being exported, they would be consumed internally. Clause 2, to encourage the domestic consumption of farm products by diverting surpluses and increasing their use. So very clearly, it means when there are surpluses. That's not their case. This is in case that agricultural products were not being consumed. It's just not the situation right now. And Clause 3, to reestablish farmers' purchasing power by making payments to farmers. Again, just not the case. Okay? Simply put, these three clauses cover none of the situation where we're at now. So, from a legal standpoint, the Trump administration is absolutely right. As much as you may hate them or like them, in this case, their legal basis is sound. And I honestly agree with the appeal and the final ruling by the Supreme Court. And I think I have to be clear on this. In theory, 65% of the SNAP benefits should still be going out. Okay? So people will not get 100% of the help, but 65% using that contingency fund specifically for SNAP benefits. Okay, that's in theory. We'll see how it plays out in the end, but that's what the Supreme Court agreed to. So to quickly summarize the situation, government shut down because Democrats and Republicans seem to not be able to do the jobs correctly. That leads to SNAP benefits not being paid out for November. Judge rules that they should be paid out by finding funds from other contingency funds. Trump administration appeals that decision because finding funds from other places is not that easy and it's not the right way to go. And that all leads to the Supreme Court blocking that and SNAP benefits being paid only partially. I hope that this shed a bit of light into an otherwise very shady situation. I hope that you can now understand a bit more of the context and the reasoning why one person acted in one way, in this way, and the other person acted in the other, why the decisions that are being made, and why things are playing out the way they're playing out. We can all do this kind of work. It took me all of 2 minutes to find all these articles and see the reason why certain things happened the way they did. And so that's why I wanted to share it with you, because I think it's very easy to jump into conclusions the moment you see, oh, Trump asked to not release funds that were supposed to be used for this purpose, and he's trying to starve children. And as terrible as that may sound and as horrible as that may make you feel, I would still like to encourage you to go a bit deeper and actually look like, is that what's really happening, or is that what people want me to think is happening? And although I hate how Republicans are still using this as a weapon against Democrats, and they are in a way using starving people as pawns, I do have to give them also credit where they should be pushing out some of the benefits, so that should still be going out. I hate how the government shutdown is going on for so long. I think it's been 37 days already, or even longer. I can't remember. Way too long. I do have to say that the contingency fund should have been planned much better. Ideally, you would expect a contingency fund to cover contingencies and to have, hopefully some kind of plan in case not enough funds are there. And I think things could have and should have been done better. Things should have been planned ahead of time better. But in any case, if you like this kind of video, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment as well with your thoughts about the situation. I don't know, anything and everything, please leave it in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Hopefully the situation gets resolved fairly quickly. And I hope we can all agree that this is a situation that just should never have happened in the first place. And that I hope gets resolved soon with hopefully no major repercussions, especially for those involved and the people that are on Snap right now.